Ciao mondo, hello world, hola mundo, hello mon, konnichiwa, ni hao, namaste. We're here in San Diego with Professor Marlies Ostermann, and at the CRRT meeting we had an interesting roundtable about the possibility of greening critical care nephrology and ICU. So Marlies, how were the conclusion of this debate?
Well, the conclusion were confirmatory. It's increasing awareness and understanding, but clinicians, non-clinicians, anybody working in the intensive care unit has a huge responsibility to improve environmental sustainability and to seek ways to reduce the carbon emission.
Do you think that healthcare and ICU and our discipline contribute to CO2 footprint in the present climate situation?
Yes, there's no question. So between 9 and 4% of CO2 emission stems from healthcare. It varies between countries. It's a bit more in the US and a bit less in certain European countries. But up to 9% of the CO2 emission contributing to global warming comes from healthcare. And within these 9%, the majority comes from the intensive care unit, because we do a lot of procedures that generate CO2 production. So it's the amount of plastic, the amount of waste, the amount of the necessity to bring medications and devices into the ICU, all of which contributes to the CO2 burden.
Jean-Louis Vincent made the point that there are several areas where you can somehow reduce CO2 generation, like plastic, like energy, like transportation of patients and physicians. Derek Angus also pointed out that most of the CO2 production is relevant to the processes rather than hospitals itself. But Derek in particular defined this effort as a collaborative initiative to speak up in the international community to bring more awareness.
Yes.
Now, you presented some examples that not always were feasible or positive, right?
That is correct. For a start, I agree it's everybody's responsibility. It is our responsibility as doctors and nurses and healthcare professionals to address this. It won't be addressed by government. I fully agree with Derek. There are some low-hanging fruits, as Professor Vincent pointed out, and these relate to the use of gloves, the amount of packaging we receive. There are bigger projects, and they are much harder to implement, and they relate to the quite more radical changes in practice, like using less, doing less phlebotomy, less x-rays, changing suppliers, and they're bigger. They require complete change of mindset.
He spoke about reusing and recycling things, but we have to be careful, because first, we are well aware that reuse of dialyzers in the United States, for example, was a disaster compared to single-use dialyzer in terms of mortality. Second thing is, let's make sure that the procedure for reuse are not more expensive compared to the single-use itself.
Correct.
What is the next step, though? Are we going to further discuss this?
Absolutely. Oh, this needs to be discussed much more, and I hope it's part of the Vicenza course in Vicenza in June 2024.
In Vicenza, we have a special session on greening CRRT. So critical care nephrology needs to go green.
Absolutely, because we all have a responsibility to reduce global warming.
Thank you for joining today, Cappuccino in San Diego, and say it. Critical care.